I'm great. How are you?
Great.
Great. So it's exciting to be talking to you again. I haven't really had a chance to catch up with you too much since I last saw you. But so here's the deal. Like a lot of people are very interested in Tatventure and they're, I think, eager to know more. I think that we're really trying to kind of get in your head as the winner, as someone who's actually won this thing, what it's actually like what is the process like from start to finish, how it is when you actually win, especially too because people are getting like these like these what's the word, like phishing messages from us. And so first things first, how did you hear about Tatventure?
Actually, I think the first time I saw about it was following either yours or Jroo's pages. I can't remember whose page I saw it on, but I was like, oh, I can't believe I found that out. Like about a year ago, and then I just kept following it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy their merch because I really like it. Not even really thinking that anything would come from it, to be honest, but that's how I found it.
So was it a conscious decision to enter Tatventure, or were you just like, oh, I like this sounds kind of cool, we'll see what happens?
It was kind of, I saw was it like double or triple entries? I can't remember if it was double or triple at the time, like 3 days before it ended.
Yeah. I think the last few days we bumped it up to like triple entries or something like that.
It caught my eye, and I was like, I've wanted to buy this, and I want to enter it, so we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Might as well, yeah. We before we actually posted the Tatventure games, I believe we called you. How was that experience? Walk me through that.
I had a heart attack.
So for those of you who haven't seen, we did make an official Tatventure 5 movie. It is on our YouTube channel. If you haven't, Jroo, could you go in and post a link in the comments to the Tatventure movie, and I'll pin it so everybody can go watch it. So we do have, it starts with the scene of me telling Hayley that she won. So just so everybody knows, you're not going to get a DM from another account. We're literally going to call you if you win. So how was that?
Well, I was sitting at work, like at my desk, and I just looked over at my phone and it said, might be Angel Rose, and I was like, someone's pranking me, someone's messing with me. I opened it and I was like, okay, this message is way too legit and way too perfect timing for this to be someone pranking me.
I know, I didn't even know what to write. I was just like, hey, so this is Angel, can I FaceTime you?
That was a message, and I was like, of course. And she was like, oh, when are you free? And I was like, now, in an hour, whenever you want to.
So yeah, we call Hayley at work, and it's funny because once we know who the winner is, we how do I pin this? There we go. Once we know who the winner is, we start stalking them. We start getting like really excited about who it is. So we kind of ran some research on you, and we were like, oh my God, okay. And me and Jroo were like sitting literally right here, and we were like, okay, I'm nervous. Oh my God, like.
I was like running in my chair. I'm like, where do I sit? But that's pretty much how it went. Like having you call me, announcing that I won, and it was a pretty surreal experience, to be honest.
Cool. And so, if you don't mind us asking, if you don't mind telling the class, how much money did you actually spend to enter?
I think it was literally like $60 or $70 on like 2 shirts, and it was for my best friend and I, who's here with me, and so it was literally just those 2 shirts, and that was it.
2 shirts. I bet you weren't expecting that. That's so funny. No. I find it really funny too, because people often will say things like, oh, but I'll never win. And I'm like, you don't know though, because we have some people, who are savages. They enter so many times, and then we have people like yourself who are just, just try it on, see what happens, and then boom. So that's
because you don't think you're gonna win, definitely enter.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I tell everyone. I'm like, what harm does it do? It's not like you're just sending us money. You're also getting some really cool stuff made by these artists that you guys like, you know, and so okay, cool. So you find out that you're going. I think we told you what, 3 weeks before or something like that. Yeah. So describe to us then kind of well, what did you do after you found out you won?
Right after I won, I remember you texting me like immediately afterwards. You were like, "Don't tell anyone yet." Like,
Oh yeah,
we have to post about it. And I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to tell my mom." I was like, so excited, and so I immediately start going shopping for costumes. Obviously.
yes.
For Halloween. Yeah. So the 3 weeks leading up to it, I was pretty much freaking out the entire time, just more excited than I have ever been.
That's awesome. So then the following few days, did you actually watch the Tatventure games when we posted them and you saw yourself like winning?
I did. Yeah.
Cool. So for those of you who don't know, when we pick a Tatventure winner, when we actually announce it, like I said before, I can't say this enough, we don't simply DM people. We will put on an entire event called the Tatventure Games, where 3 of our team will compete for the top 3 people pulled from all of the entries. So the top 3 people, you know, our generator will go in, pick 3 random names out of every single entry made. Those 3 people will then be represented by 3 of our team, and they compete in something that they are not particularly good at, and thus we find the winner. I was lucky enough to actually represent you, which was kind of fun because I was doing the tattoo, and yeah, it was really fun, and the whole thing was, oh my god, I wish you guys could have been there. I wish you could have been there, honestly, Hayley, because like we were so gassed afterwards. Like me, Laura, and Tall Boy were like hyperventilating. Like we were so tired from doing this. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Tatventure games, make sure to keep an eye out for them. We'll be posting, obviously, you know, we keep you guys up to date on everything, but we'll be posting when the Tatventure games are happening, and you're going to want to tune in because not like some people forget this. There is a first, second, and third place to Tatventure. So obviously you got the first place spot, but everybody else is going to want to tune in and see who got those 2 second spots, and just, you know, like kind of be a part of the whole process because we do a lot of theatrics for this, and it's definitely very entertaining.
Yeah, you guys put a lot of work into it. Just really fun experience anyways.
Like, yeah.
Still a fun experience to watch and stuff.
Yeah, it's fun too to like see all the previous winners like tuning in all the time. Like some of them are watching us right now, and it's just awesome. So let's talk about actually getting, you know, actually going in and getting on the flight that we bought for you and meeting us for the first time. How was that?
It was, again, super surreal. Like, I'm getting on the plane in the morning. I think it was like super early in the morning, and I was just super excited. Not nervous yet, and then you finally touch down, and you're like, oh my god, I'm actually meeting these people. And it's kind of a freeing experience, like, going there by yourself. I know a lot of people do get nervous about, like, oh, hey, I don't know these people. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, it's not like that at all. Like, when I first met you guys, it was like, you make it feel so welcoming and just very fun and cool. And like seeing you guys with the sign, holding it up that said Hayley Elliott on it with the flipped
with the ransom note sign. That was Jroo's idea.
I loved it, but it was really, really fun and really special.
And you know, just so everybody knows, I'm going to say it again. If you haven't watched the Tatventure 5 movie, please watch it because all of the stuff that we're describing from here on is in the movie, and you'll be able to see it and kind of see what we all went through. But the thing about the movie is that we shoot it obviously from our point of view, right? From like me and Jroo, you know, Jack, our camera guy, travels with us, but he does not get to travel with you, Hayley. So it's cool to know actually how that was for you.
Yeah, it's good nerves, and you show up, and it's kind of like the nerves all just go away. You're like, oh, I feel like I've been friends with these people for a long time because you guys make it a really homey experience. I think that's one of the super important things to point out about Tatventure. It's a super like almost like a welcome home experience for the winner. Like it's really cool.
I love that. Yeah, I think sometimes people, you know, I try to keep track of kind of how people are feeling about Tatventure kind of through the process, and like people have sometimes like reservations about entering because they're like, I don't want to, like, you know, they're like, I have social anxiety, like I don't want to go hang out with a bunch of people I don't know. And I think it's good to hear you kind of squash that and let them know that it's actually like we're such open, like loving people, and to know that you feel like family immediately, that like makes us feel very validated because that's what we want, you know.
And I was nervous going into it too. I think it's natural to be when you're meeting people for the time you're gonna be, but like that as soon as you get there and meet you guys, it's pretty cool.
Cool. All right, so yeah, for those who don't know, once you arrive, we'll come pick you up at the airport and take you back to the Airbnb. We did it like this really fun thing this past time where we all like the whole pro team got together and like decorated the whole Airbnb for Hayley's arrival, and it said like "Happy Tatventure 5" when you open the door. And Connor and the rest of the squad, we left to go pick up Hayley, and we were like, make sure that like Hayley's got like an epic welcome. And our Airbnb literally had like a disco ball and lights. So as she walks in, like all the lights turn on and Careless Whisper starts playing. And it was really an awesome moment. So how was that for you? Because I knew it was coming, kind of a little bit, but like, how was that for you?
I think the most perfect representation of how I felt was the picture that Jack took, which again you can see in the movie. But walking up the stairs and just seeing Laura absolutely go ham dancing
in the plague doctor mask.
And seeing everybody in their costumes, like it was just so much fun. And like how extravagant our Airbnb was extravagant. Like you could tell from the movie, you could tell from the pictures, but in person it was just awesome. Everywhere, but just how excited everyone was when I got there just makes you feel even more awesome about the experience.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty special.
So what was one thing that kind of surprised you about like the first 48 hours? Like what maybe how about this? What was one thing that surprised you about the pro team and meeting everyone?
I think that really seeing that your guys' personalities that show through social media is like genuinely how you are when you get there, and you guys have fun all the time. I think the most surprising thing is just like surrendering yourself, because like obviously you don't know, for anyone that hasn't done it, like you don't know what you're doing at really any point in the day, and that makes the experience so much cooler. So the first 48 hours, like getting used to just being like Angel telling you, okay, well, get ready, dress kind of like this. I'm not going to tell you where we're going, but we'll end up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those who don't know, how it happens is you kind of just I sent Hayley this like intro email before, and I had a bunch of like Mean Girls quotes in there, and I was kind of like, it's basically like, get in the car, bitch, we're going shopping. Like it was like she didn't know what most actually like. We like to keep things like kind of a surprise a little bit throughout the process. So Hayley didn't actually know what was coming next most of the time. It was kind of just get in the car, wear this, let's go. And I think that takes a lot of bravery, but I think so much of the actual core of Tatventure is about, you know, like exploring our inner power and our bravery and stuff like that. How about, okay, let's change gears a little bit. That's kind of a nice little segue. Because people know of Tatventure, and we kind of market it as a tattoo giveaway, right? But it is a tattoo giveaway. I mean, you have a badass fucking tattoo on your arm. But before we can even get to that, there's so much more to what it is that I think that people don't quite know about. So how about first of all, what was your like favorite part about the whole thing aside from the tattoo?
Kind of hard to pinpoint one thing. obviously skydiving, I would say, would be the most like personal, like favorite moment of the adventure, because it's just like you and I experiencing that together was really cool. But I think overall, like seeing myself conquer fears that aren't necessarily like tangible. They're like things that like, because you talk through like getting through fears every day, and you don't really realize that you're going to do that. But then I feel like everything that we talked about, whether it was at the end of the night or random parts in the middle of the day, like you're getting to know yourself better while also getting to know other people. And I think that was the most important thing for me, like through Tatventure, because I was kind of reserved when I showed up. And I think when I left, I had learned so much about you guys and myself that I was just like really a better version of myself.
I love that. That is the best way to say it. It's funny too, because just as you guys are, you as a winner, it's obviously very important for us that you're going through some kind of like transformation and you're learning about yourself. But it's like by the end of the trip, I learned so much about myself, and we all kind of in tandem are becoming closer to ourselves because of the things that we're doing together and experiencing together, and just allowing ourselves to be very like candid and just like authentic in everything that's happening. So for those who don't know, obviously on Tatventure we go and we do like a bunch of super fun stuff. Like our goal, like me and Jroo's meetings and like the captain's meetings that we have are basically like, how can we have the most fun possible in this many days? But in there, especially when we talk about skydiving, of course, that would be Hayley's favorite because it's everybody's favorite. We try to make everything very ceremonial in a way. So when we skydive, and again, this is all in the movie. You can watch us cry. Go do it. It's pinned at the bottom. So if you haven't watched it after this, definitely go watch the movie. It's a fucking masterpiece made by our videographer, Jack Barry. And just so you know, too, there is also a Tatventure 4 movie, and there will be movies coming out for every Tatventure to come. So if you really want to know really what Tatventure is about, watch that thing. So we, Hayley didn't know this, but Jroo and I knew this, that we were skydiving that day. We basically pulled everybody in to the house, and we were like, okay, we're all going to write down our biggest fears in the current moment. And we're all going to go around and share them and, ceremoniously burn those fears in a little fire that we had to make like 8 times, and may or may not have almost burnt down the Airbnb. But it was a tender moment, right? Sorry. Excuse me. Because we're not in a normal situation used to just sharing our biggest fears with people that we just met. And so when it's kind of like, okay, write it down, and then Jroo looks at us all and is like, okay, so what'd you write? And then you're like, oh God, am I really gonna let this out right now? And then you burn it, right? And you get all in your emotions about what you're the most afraid of. And like, if you really, it's definitely a safe space. So everybody digs pretty deep, and we're crying, and it's this whole thing. And then I'm like, and then Drew's like, Angel, Hayley, you have 3 minutes, get in the car. And we were like, oh fuck. We jump in the van and we drive, and we keep driving. And Hayley hasn't like done a very good job of not asking what's happening. And then we put a t-shirt over her head, brought her to the skydiving place. And we were like, all right, congrats, we're jumping out of a plane next. How did that feel? Well, tell me first, how was that like fire ceremony for you?
That was kind of a big moment for me because, like I said, I'm a reserved person. I always have been, and it takes a lot for me to step not outside of my comfort zone, because I'm good at that, but as far as talking outside of my comfort zone is really hard for me. So talking in front of people, especially about like my biggest fear, was difficult, but it was really good for me, and it feels really good to like let that off your chest with people that genuinely care. It's like, it's in that moment, this is not people you've just met. These are like your friends that are there for you, that care about you and want to see you let go of your fears. So it was pretty amazing, and definitely one of my biggest moments, like for me on Tatventure for sure.
That's great to hear. And it's amazing because it's all love in that room, you know. We're all like being so vulnerable, and in those moments, like I am so overcome with love for every person as they're sharing, and I'm like, you know, obviously they're my friends, but I'm sure you felt the same as we were all being vulnerable along with you. That like as soon as someone starts talking, you just want to throw your arms around them and you're like, it's gonna be okay. Like
Yep.
um
A lot of love.
yeah, a lot of love. And so how about that long drive over to the little baby airport? How was that?
It was pretty cool. We were jamming. I had no idea where I was going, and then Angel was like, "Yeah, we're gonna put a T-shirt over your head because you just was gonna figure it out."
I'm in the passenger seat. I'm like, should we blindfold her? And she was like, maybe.
And then when we got there, like obviously still had a T-shirt over my head. They helped me get out of the van, our awesome van.
You totally hit your head too. It's totally my fault.
Angel made me slam my forehead on the fan. But she pulls the T-shirt off my head. The first thing I see is the hanger with our little orange plane like parked right in front of it, and I was just like, no freaking way, dude. And I had never been skydiving before, and it was on my bucket list, so pretty freaking cool.
I was very impressed at your ability to not like be anxious about where we were driving. Like you just seemed fine. I was like, I'd be tripping right now.
I was so excited.
Especially like kind of knowing sort of that like it might be skydiving, you know, like
I was just super ready to just be present. I told myself going into Tatventure that I was just going to be very present every moment, and like nerves or not, didn't matter. And I tried to do that the whole time I was there, and it made it like such a cool experience.
well, honestly too, we talk about this all the time. Like every winner has had something to teach us, you know, like we want, you know, we aim to bring ourselves all closer to our truest self, you know, through this process. But you know, we're not I'm gonna deny this call. You know, we're not, I don't know, saviors or something, you know. So whenever a winner comes along, they have so much to teach us. And for me personally, watching your like incredible acceptance for everything that was happening and just the like fucking just headstrong bravery you just like went into shit with, that was like my takeaway from you. Like when we were like up in the plane and I look back and you were just like happy. Like you were just like zero nerves. My first time going up in the plane, there's footage of it on Tatventure 4. I was so nervous. I was looking at the plane like and I just looked back at you and you were just like, this is fucking happening.
Like, I was so, you can't see the moment that my heart went into my throat though in the plane in the movie when our lovely pilot decided they were gonna mess with us.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil that for you guys, but our pilots they got a sense of humor in the South and made us think we were gonna die. So yeah, go watch the movie. But yeah, I think, you know, getting to spend time with you and learn more about you as a person and your process, actually everything that happened throughout it just from since we called you, all of that, learning about all that, like I came away and I was like, wow, I'm really so grateful that I got to not only meet Hayley, but she got to teach me so much by simply being herself through this process. It was really cool. And then, so you're up there, you're skydiving, first time. What were you thinking? How are you feeling?
I think this kind of perfectly goes with Tatventure, and something Jroo always talks about, but just completely grateful for everything. Like, I don't think that you can really feel anything else other than just being grateful for the fact that you're there. Like, the sun was setting as we were in the sky.
Coming down, it was so good.
You're just watching the sunset from like 10,000 feet. It was amazing. Unlike absolutely anything else you could possibly do.
Yeah, it is, I think, the closest we can get as humans to flying.
Yeah.
because I just like as my personal experience with it, it's like I am just chock full of anxiety the whole time going up. I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, my hair's all crazy. And then as soon as we step out of the plane and we're about to go, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like as soon as we start falling, it's like the biggest smile on my face. It is the happiest, craziest moment. Like it's so freeing. And then the moment you fall, and this is how Jroo describes skydiving often, is like it's so important that we had just talked about what we were the most afraid of in our entire lives, and you had just fallen from the sky from 10,000 feet, free fell. There is like no moment in your life where you are more supremely present and aware and within yourself. There's nothing else in the world but you in that moment. There's hardly even a dude strapped to your back. You're just like overwhelmed, right?
Yep.
And in that moment, I couldn't remember what I wrote down on that piece of paper. I couldn't think of anything. I was like, that was so much scarier than anything I could have written on that paper. And it was amazing. And so, what'd you say?
I said it's extremely humbling, but you feel really powerful when you hit the ground too. So it's almost like that, just a cool feeling that you cannot get, or at least I've never felt unless I was skydiving.
Yeah. And or we hit the ground and this like happy little dog ran over and like wanted pets. And I was just like, what is going on? I start crying. Amazing moment. I think if it's okay with you, Hayley, are you okay, kind of like talking about your grandfather and kind of how that happened?
Yeah, no, definitely. So my grandpa is, if my mom's on here, she will love this, but he's actually one of the most important people in my life, and other than my dad, like the most important man that I've ever had in my life. And I got told, like Angel said, about 3 weeks before that I had been chosen to go on there, and my grandparents were actually at my house, and so I got to kind of share in that moment when they were announcing who the winner was on Instagram. Like, they were all there, so all my people were there. Well, about 2 weeks later, like 4 days, literally 4 days before I was supposed to go on Tatventure, my grandpa suddenly passed away at my house. So it was a pretty life-shattering moment for me. I'm an only child, and so I grew up very, very close to my grandparents. And so I kind of told Angel and Jroo that when I got there, like, I just really feel like this is the moment and where I'm supposed to be. And my family encouraged me to go because it was really, really hard for me to choose to go on Tatventure after that happening, because I kind of felt like I was abandoning my family, like in a way. But they were like, absolutely not, Hayley. Like, this is for you. Go do something for you. And that's what I did. And it couldn't have been a better decision than to do that. So
I think it was really like kind of the climax of the just like divine kind of timing of everything when we kind of like got back down from skydiving, and then we were like, this is why we do this shit,
Yeah.
And
why I'm here. This is why, like, you're just meant to be where you're at, and that's truly what I believe. And I think really Tatventure was where I was supposed to be.
it is, and knowing that, learning that about you and getting to work with you and stuff, like, and not only like work with you, but like get to like kind of befriend you through all that, and like knowing all that, like watching you have these like moments of like self-realization, and these moments of like, I'm doing this for me, and like knowing too that your grandfather would have wanted you to do this. It made it all like so much more heartfelt, and just like so much, the light in your face, like every time I would look at you would like choke me up. I'd just be like, oh my god. But anyway, so other than skydiving, do you have a second favorite moment from the whole trip?
I think screaming at the top of our lungs, like Angel and I at the vampire balls, screaming at the absolute top of our lungs for Jroo, which you can also see.
Yes.
I think my absolute second favorite moment of Tatventure. That was just amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. We go to this vampire ball in New Orleans. It was epic. It was awesome. Our squad looked so good. We were just so in character as these like vampires for the night, and Jroo gets approached to enter like best dressed for the night. Of course he does. It's Winnie the fucking Jroo, and of course. And we realized it's like it's like a cheer contest, right? And I was like, oh no. And it's like about to be his turn, and Drew's favorite number is 11, and they call him up, and he's number 11. And I was like, oh God. And I was we were sitting on these like kind of bar stools, kind of against, kind of out of the way of the main crowd. And I got up off my stool and I put my wallet down. I put all my shit down, and I get up and I'm like ready to like preparing all of my like life of like living in like a Portuguese family in Hawaii. I'm like, my voice is ready. And I stand up, and then Hayley stands up next to me, and I was like, yes, welcome to the squad. Let's fucking do this. We're screaming. You can hear it on the video. We're so loud. God.
It like cut out because it was so loud. I don't think I could talk for like the next day.
Oh yeah.
Really small.
God, yeah, what an incredible night. And it's crazy too how like, as coordinators for Tatventure, like Jroo and I have a lot to think about at all times, and I'm always like worried that like somebody's gonna, I don't know, have an issue or whatever, or get tired and want to go home or something. And it's like every single person in the group is just like, this is the best thing ever, like constantly.
Like 99% of the time. I think we finally looked at the clock when we were like, maybe we're a little tired, and it was like 2 a.m.
2 something. It was literally 2 something, and I was like, and the vampire ball goes till like 4. I was like, you guys are wild. Yeah. So yeah, and it's really fun too. Just for backstory for everybody who doesn't know, before we went to this vampire ball, we had to make sure that like our winner was like suited up and ready to go, and was going to be the best. Have the best fit they possibly can for the vampire ball. We wanted you to look amazing. So we took Hayley and the whole squad shopping in New Orleans, and New Orleans has some of the coolest costume shops in the country. Like, they're awesome. And we just got so like caught up down in the French Quarter, like buying stuff, and we made Hayley look like this like countess, and it was awesome.
Jroo freaking decked me out. This man and Angel stayed in the back of this like super cool, I don't even remember what that place was called in New Orleans, but one of their really famous shops for Halloween. And Jroo cloak, and he's like, Hayley, this is for you. Like, this is made for you. We have to get this. And is it for me? And it was such a humbling experience. And then like Jroo and I kind of had a moment at the vampire ball, because when he got asked there, told he was number 11, he's like, can I have a look? And I was like, yes.
I need the cloak.
And he took it up there.
He rips off Hayley's cloak, and we're screaming. It was good.
Yep.
It was really good. So yeah, and this was an idea we had a long time ago. We actually, like, when we first had the idea of going to New Orleans, I started looking up events that were happening around that time, and I saw the vampire ball, and I was like, dude, we should do this. And I remember talking to Jroo about it, like, very early on in the conceptualization process. I was like, we could go and like go shopping with the winner. It'll be so fun, and we'll like make them so badass. And then that's exactly what happened. It was like, God, it was amazing. But
everybody found stuff too. Like, we were all the whole.
Oh, we looked amazing. That's, I think, the coolest I've ever looked. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna top that one. We'll see. Cool. So, is there anything else that, if people are interested in Tatventure, is there anything else about the actual adventure part that you want to tell them?
I don't know. I think most most of it is just like, obviously, I mean, I think back and I just get all these like crazy memories in my head because you're constantly doing stuff. But I think the important thing is like, obviously you're like getting a paid vacation in this tattoo, which is amazing, but you're getting so much more than that. Like, you're getting friends for the rest of your life and like experiences and just conversations that never replace or never get with anything else. So I think that was the most like important part of Tatventure for me.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. It's like we go and we do all this epic stuff and it's super fun. But then again, there's like the moments where it's like 3 a.m. and we're like we go to 3 different McDonald's trying to get food and like and like in this small moments in the middle of the night where we're just talking about life or just like picking leftovers out of the fridge or whatever we're doing, like and it's
Laura
just yeah, Laura cooking breakfast and just it's kind of the magic is a lot of it is in just the little moments like that where like it's just these moments of humanity where we're all just like kind of in unison, like having the best time and learning about ourselves and
it's amazing. And seeing the little baby alligator was pretty cool too.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, there was a baby alligator involved. If you don't know what we're talking about, watch the video, watch the movie, because there's some things I don't want to spoil about the movie. You guys just got to go watch it. It is a masterpiece. I cannot say that enough. Drew's in the chat. He's like, we got all the winners in the chat. That's awesome. It's an alumni. It is. It's you guys are literally our best friends. Like we get so excited whenever a winner comes around. We're like, oh my God.
Yeah, and we got to meet each other, which was pretty cool. Well, most of us.
Yeah. We were missing Roni, but yeah. Cool. Okay, so how about this? Describe the actual process of getting tattooed on Tatventure by myself. Describe that to people who are, I'm sure, wondering about what that's like.
That was a whole adventure in and of itself. That you get to it and you're like, wow, I've done all these things, but I still get this tattoo. So Angel and I locked ourselves in my room, which was...
Well, okay, so Hayley didn't know what I was drawing. Like we had a little kind of powwow about it. Actually, you sent me some ideas and I didn't listen to them. Well, she sent me so Hayley sent me some ideas before we met. And I was like, awesome, I could totally do that for you. But I had a feeling it was going to change. I had a feeling throughout the process we were going to want to do something else. And then midway through the trip, Hayley's like, honestly, just do whatever you want.
Like, is there anything I was like, really? There's nothing to it. But I'm pretty obsessed with the beautiful ladies that you tattoo. So if we can incorporate that somehow, that'd be amazing.
Who's not obsessed with my beautiful ladies? I mean, come on. And I think you can kind of just take a shot in the dark and know that I'm probably going to draw a beautiful lady for you at any given time. So
it ended up rolling up into, so we're sitting on the couch and Angel's like sitting there like this. So we're drawing and I'm like, oh, like thinking that maybe she had drawn like in the last day or whatever. Nope, Angel cranks out this massive, beautiful tattoo on her iPad in like 2 hours.
Well, to be fair, I really wanted to start drawing it, but then we were in New Orleans over Halloween and we didn't get home till 4 a.m. for like 3 nights in a row. So
baffled at how like creative and fast she is, but it's just wild. When you watch her work, it's really wild. I was baffled.
Jroo wants you to show them the tattoo. Do you want to show them the masterpiece we're talking about?
Yes. I don't know if you can see it right here.
Yeah, so take a little step back for us if you can, so they can kind of just see how much we did.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So that's the tattoo. We did that in 2 days. So I was sitting there, I drew this whole thing and I showed it to her, and obviously I'm sure she was like, whoa. How was it when you saw the drawing and saw how much of your arm I was going to try to do?
I was extremely excited, number one, because I was like, okay, I was expecting like a half sleeve, something like that,
Yeah.
And that's what we were about. And then she was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a full
You're like, wow, okay. Yeah, I was totally like, yeah, let's go down over the elbow, all the way down, halfway down your forearm. I was like, because I was like, this is fucking Tatventure. I said it in the movie. I was like, this is probably next to my like Ink Master canvases, the most important tattoo I've ever done. You know, like there's so much in this, there's so much love in this, and there's just so much anticipation for it. I was like, I have to kill this. It has to be incredible, you know? So yeah, so what ended up happening was we made a little studio in Hayley's bedroom and locked ourselves in there for 2 days. So how was that?
It actually, so going into it, I think we were both kind of anticipating feeling like it was gonna feel like a long time. But to be honest, it really didn't. Like, Angel took almost no breaks. She's a beast. I don't know how her lower back.
my massage therapist has a lot to say about my lower back.
One of my favorite memories is you sitting on a pillow, just like absolutely going to town. And she would look up at me and be like, "You good?" I was like,
on the ground. I'm like, "You good?"
Yeah. So, and then being able to share that with Jack was actually really cool because, like, for everyone that doesn't know, like, no one else saw the tattoo obviously before it was revealed. So it was only me, Angel, and then Jack obviously saw it, the videographer, but Jroo would come and talk to us like through the wall, like so he couldn't see it. But
there was this hilarious like curtain between Hayley and Jroo's bedrooms. So when people wanted to come talk to us, they would like poke their head in through the curtain and say things to us. Like when the squad missed us, they would come and talk. And just like one of my favorite moments was when Connor comes in and it's like you can tell there's commotion behind the curtain, and she's like, "Do you want to know what Jroo just said?" And we were like, "What?" And she's like, "He said he was cold." And like Jroo picks her up and like takes her away because Drew's always complaining about being hot. I've never heard him say he was cold in his life. It was really funny, but so little moments like that were really hilarious because like Hayley's arm is like facing away from this curtain and people keep coming in and just like, it was like a movie. Like they keep just coming in and like, like Charlie Chaplin just like popping in and having something funny to say. Happy birthday, Ethan. Just throwing that out there. I have to, I'm like trying to not look at the chat too much, but then Ethan, we have to say happy birthday to Ethan. It's a rule. But anyway, so yeah, and then getting to having to, you know, like be in this room with you and like literally us having nothing else to do other than talk to each other the whole time was really where I started to like this. I think obviously we had this like kind of beautiful friendship growing, but that was where I was like, we really got to know each other, I think.
Yeah, we realized like how much we could really relate to each other too, and like it was really cool to like hear about how you grew up and everything, and just really hear your story like while watching you create this masterpiece on my arm. Like it was a pretty sweet experience.
Well, it was crazy too because like so many times throughout the tattoo, I remember you like say something to me, I'd be like, "Oh, so you're just a badass." I'm like, "Oh, okay, so Hayley's just a badass." I'm like, "You've been a badass, you've been this badass the whole time, and you haven't told me." Like, you're very quiet, badass, but that was really cool for me, you know, just kind of getting to lock you in a room and be like, "Okay, tell me, what's Hayley? What's this?" Yeah. So getting tattooed 2 days in a row. Some people have, you know, they've never done that before. That's a lot of tattooing, obviously. How was that? How did you manage that, or how was that for you?
Yeah, so 2 full days of a tattoo, like I had never done before either, so I can definitely relate. And I think part of me was a little bit nervous because I have tattoos, but like nothing anywhere close to that big or that long, and it was so much easier than I could have ever like imagined. Like you don't really realize how much care like Angel puts into tattoos and how she actually tattoos until you're getting tattooed by her. And 2 days was nothing. Like she made me super comfortable, and I was fine, really.
Mm-hmm. And I can definitely say as you know, I'm sure, Hayley, we've announced that the next tattoo will be done by Laura Marie. And just as a side note, I get tattooed by Laura pretty frequently. She's done most of my arm and like my whole side. And I actually learned a lot of that care from getting tattooed by Laura. She was one person that I could tell consistently throughout the process of me getting tattooed was like very tuned in to my pain level and helping me manage that and like doing things to make things easier. And I know Jroo is exactly the same. So no matter who you're getting tattooed by, like we're definitely going to make sure that we take care of you. And honestly, it's just a really good time. The tattoo is kind of like, yes, tattoos get painful, but it's like we're all in it. We're all plugged in. We all know we're going to finish it no matter what. And I think that's kind of what makes it easier to get through because it's like we're all in this together, you know?
Yeah, definitely don't be afraid of the 2-day. Like if you think that you can't do it, you definitely can.
Yeah. I do think at a certain point, it's like big tattoo is a big tattoo. It's going to be it's going to be similarly difficult, you know? And I have definitely done my fair share of really, really, really long sessions. And, you know, when you're with someone that you literally love and loves you back, it makes it so much easier.
Definitely.
Cool. So when it was finally done and you looked at the tattoo, describe that feeling for everybody.
I immediately wanted to cry, happy tears. Because you're a different, like, so Angel told me this at the beginning. She looks at me and she says, you know, you're going to be a different person. You're going to look completely different, right? And I was like, yeah, no, and you think that. You're like, oh, yeah, well, like, of course, because I have this, like, new 3/4 sleeve. No, you don't really realize it until you look in the mirror and, like, this is armor that Angel created for me. Like, this is so cool. And, yeah, I immediately wanted to cry, very happy tears, but it was just so surreal.
I really love that you said that because like I often when I'm composing tattoos, I feel like I'm putting armor on my person and the Tatventure one was no different. I was like, this is gonna move with your body and it's going to like I wanted it to kind of feel like armor as I put it on you. So yeah, and I remember looking in the mirror too and I was like, you look different. I was like, what did I tell you?
Like I told you so, and I was like, yep, I love it so much.
So cool. And then so just to kind of like let everybody else know too, what happens next is then the next like Hayley keeps this thing hidden from everybody until the next morning and we show everybody. How did it feel when this like group of tattoo artists saw your arm for the first time?
Seeing the pure shock on their face because they had no idea. They don't know anything. They don't know the size of the tattoo. They don't even know where the tattoo is, really, to be honest. But seeing the pure shock and like admiration on all of these incredible tattoo artists' face was really, really special. Like I think Todd almost started crying. Like Jroo almost started crying.
They did. I think Jroo shed a tear actually.
Yeah.
That was the moment for me. I was like, oh, we just did something awesome. Like, cause I was tired, you know what I mean? You and I were kind of like just in it. And then when everybody saw it, we were like, I was in just as much shock as you. I was like, oh my God, dude, we did this.
Cool, like watching, getting to know someone so well, and then like you're almost like I'm so proud of what you did, and I was like, this is just such a cool thing to share with Angel.
Yeah, it's the best. I'm actually having a great time catching up with you and kind of reliving it because I'm like, oh, that was the best time. So, you know, you got your tattoo. We learned so much about ourselves. Anything about like the actual Tatventure 5?
Just maybe how it's, I would like to hear like just how life has been for her after, like what changed within her from Tatventure specifically and how that's like affected her life.
Okay, yeah, we can move into that.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I think what this beautiful thing happens where like after Tatventure, you know, our winners go off and I feel like they walk differently. You know, I feel like their life from then on is changed, and I've seen it with all of the winners. So I'm curious, how is how has Tatventure affected your life moving forward?
I think like after leaving Tatventure, I just had this newfound appreciation for like all of what life had to offer. Because I always thought that I was really adventurous or outgoing and stuff, and then you truly realize the things that you like haven't been doing or haven't been appreciating or anything like while you're there. And so I think I did walk differently afterwards. Like I have this new confidence and this new appreciation for everything that I'm doing, and I really have tried more to put myself out there and to just be grateful every day. And I write in my gratitude journal almost every day that Jroo gave me. So I think that's the biggest change for me from leaving.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can definitely obviously like this is your sweepstakes, but like honestly we feel exactly the same. Trust me. Like every time we like leave a Tatventure, I've made like huge life changes that I decided on Tatventure multiple times. And I think too, like I can't even, what do you tell people when they ask about your arm? What do you say?
I've had so many people look at me and be like, wow, who did that tattoo? And I'm like, oh, it was Angel Rose.
Oh, just my best friend.
It's just Angel. Like sometimes people ask like, oh, like how did you get in with her or whatever? I'm like, well, I got extremely lucky, number one, and I'll tell them about the experience. And
well, every dollar you spend on Tatventure.com is one entry into the sweepstakes.
Yep. I'm like, go support my friends. They're awesome. But I think the coolest thing is like really having new friends after leaving, like having a whole group of friends that I can pretty much call up or whatever, check in. Like, I mean, I feel like I see your guys' stuff every day, and like you guys interact with me on like Instagram, really anything, like even on the phone. It's just cool. Like, have so many friends supporting you and wanting you to succeed in life. Like that's so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's we get so invested in your journey, we get so, and the same goes for Jasmine, same goes for Ethan and Roni. Like everything that they have good in their life, I get so stoked about, like Ethan went on and like his thing was like, like he ended up being a father shortly after. And like that was crazy. And like he brought the baby to the shop and we were like, oh my God. Like things like that is just like magically like we can't come up with, I can't write that into the itinerary. It just doesn't happen. So
and all the Tatventure winners like support each other too. It's like you have this whole group, like you have all you guys are our friends, but we're also friends with all the people that have won before, and we all like it's just this big support group that is not something that you can get really anywhere else. It's pretty sweet.
It was really cool actually when we saw that you were entering the like Inked Mag cover girl contest. I was like, dude, yes, that was awesome. And I don't know, maybe you would have done that before Tatventure, like, but I still felt like you have such a fucking story to tell now, like, and that's like unique. There are 4 people in the world walking around with Tatventure tattoos, and you're one of them.
I don't think I would have entered, to be completely honest, because I
really?
just didn't have at all. Like it was terrifying for me to enter anyways, because I was like, you immediately think like, oh, there's no way I'm good enough for this. Like there's 25,000 people that enter. Like you kind of just already think that you're not gonna make it. But then I was like, you know what? No, I learned this at Tatventure. Like I'm not gonna put myself down like that, and I'm not gonna think that I'm not gonna get it before I even go into it. So I mean, I did get knocked out, but I made it to the quarterfinals, and I took second in the quarterfinals. So that's pretty freaking cool.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. And you know what? Like for people who are discouraged to enter something simply because there's a lot of other people doing it, like,
just do it.
Dude, just do it. They called me to do Ink Master when I had 2.5 years of experience. You gotta just do it, man. So that's actually that is really awesome to hear, Hayley. I'm really glad that you have such beautiful art to wear, and you have such a good story to tell and so much confidence to go with it now. So
me too. I'm extremely thankful and very grateful for you guys.
We're very grateful for you. So we are getting into we're getting into Tatventure 6. How do you feel about that?
7. No, 7. Yeah.
6.
6.
She's 5. You said 7 like
Time
4
traveling.
times earlier, and I was like, it's 6. We're getting into Tatventure 6. We're going to be going to Paris. How do you feel about that?
It's freaking epic, and I think I'm just as excited to see the next Tatventure when I go on Tatventure as I was for myself.
Yeah.
And all the new experiences you guys have, like, I can't wait for your next video to come out, like, introducing the new winner. I'm stoked.
You think you're going to enter this time?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Look out. Knowing Laura, having met Laura, how do you think that's going to be for the winner, getting tattooed by her?
God, they're getting it's always a once in a lifetime opportunity, but the fact that this is Laura's first time, just like it was your first time this last time, meeting her and getting to know her, like, she is a wonderful person, and she's an incredibly talented artist, and you see how talented of an artist she is through her personality and how just amazing she is. So they're gonna have the time of their lives.
Hell yeah. In Paris. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. So for people who want to enter Tatventure, or like maybe especially for people who don't want to enter Tatventure but they know what it is, what do you have to say to these people?
I think take the leap of faith, like, for yourself, if anything, and just know that you're gonna come out, like, if you do make it to Tatventure, like, you're gonna come out a better person, and you're gonna come out a better version of yourself, and you can't do that, and, like, just on a normal day, it's really hard to do that. So don't be scared, don't be afraid of the experience, just definitely do it.
I think too, just the idea of taking a chance, is what's the worst that can happen? You get a cool shirt. Oh no, and I think we talked about this a lot on your Tatventure. I kept mentioning to people, or I kept mentioning to you guys, like, you can't be afraid of wanting things, and I think there's no disappointment if you enter and you don't win. You're still part of the process. You still get to watch who goes and everything. There's no reason not to enter just because you feel like you might not win, because literally you didn't think you were going to win and you did.
And, like, I mean, everyone deserves to take a chance on themselves, and I think that people get so nervous to take a chance on, like, them as a person. Like, no, you deserve to take care of yourself and to take a chance on you and making yourself a better person. So I think that is the biggest reason to enter. Absolutely.
That was a takeaway that I learned from you, for sure, with everything with your family going on. And it was no, you got to do this for you. And I think that's so powerful. So if you've ever wanted to enter Tatventure and you felt apprehensive about it for whatever reason, don't. Just do it.
Definitely. Couldn't agree.
I think that's wrapped up pretty nicely. Is there anything else, Jroo?
That's
Cool.
amazing.
All right.
That's
Well,
exactly an hour, so that's pretty
yeah, no, I was watching the time. All right, cool. So we're at the end here, Hayley. I love you very much. I'm very happy I got to talk to you today.
I love you so much.
And yeah, everybody stay tuned for updates on Tatventure 6. We're going to be doing so much more this time. It's even bigger sweepstakes than last time. So everybody get your entries in at tatventure.com. Go check out the new merch that we've all designed for you guys. And we added some more players to the team. There's so much going on. So make sure you guys are keeping up on Tatventure and everything that's going on and all the hard work we're doing. And I look forward to seeing what happens next. Hayley, you're wonderful. And we'll talk soon, I guess.
Yes, I love you guys. Thank you for everything.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was good. That was really
I
good.
cried.
You did.
That was so
Dude, she
cute.
hit me with some really good ones. I was like, oh, these are good words. These are good words.
It was amazing. Oh, so cute. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
It was so
I
good.
was trying really hard to kind of stay like kind of what are the things we should talk about, you know, try to keep keep kind of a flow to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it worked out nicely. It was
That was
exactly an hour.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God, she had some good things to say.
Oh, that was so fucking good. I love you.
I love you.
How awesome.
I love that all the winners are just always on.
It's the best. It's so cool. Like, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, that was great. She got me a couple times like, Hayley.
Me too.
She's like, I don't think I've ever had a confidence before. Like winning Tatventure was like, oh fuck it, let's do it. And I was like, I love that.
This shit really has changed my whole life.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I love hearing, every time I hear someone talk about how it's changed their life, I feel like I'm just so grateful because I feel like no one's life could have been changed more by it than mine, you know? Like,
Well, yeah, and I think that's the truth.
it's so cool. It's fucking crazy. Just because, like, that's what I want in my life. I want to be able to change people's lives for the better, you know? And so, like, every time I hear someone say that about, you know, especially Tatventure like this, it's like,
Doing it. Doing the damn
we're
thing.
doing it.
What do you got going on after this?
I'm gonna go get the keys.
Get the keys.
Yeah. Going to finish taking some of the shit here home. And then go get my babies.
What time are
I'm gonna
we
go
hanging out tomorrow?
whenever. I'm gonna be hanging out all day. Laura's gonna come up at like noon, and we're gonna record some videos.
Your house.
And then we're gonna plan some stuff for the seminar, and then everyone else is gonna come whenever.
Everyone else? Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Well, maybe late afternoon, come back.
Ha! This is so funny. Wow, we are still live. Well, YouTube, the fuck's good.
No, because we were just saying such a
Glad we have that on camera. How funny, I'm just sitting here like